Well, hey y'all, it's Crissy here from Crissy's Clucky Chronicles and crissyoshow.com. I'm just coming at you from the sunny fields and woods of eastern North Carolina. Y'all know this is where the sweet tea flows. The birds cluck, quack, and wail. All these quail, they're screaming like screaming memes. Anyway, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to Crissy's Clucky Chronicles. I'm super excited to have you here today. Thanks for joining, watching, subscribing, and all the fun stuff that you do, because y'all are total flock stars, and I heart y'all great big. Now, today I want to dive into the wild, wonderful world of raising birds for eggs. I'm talking about like chickens, ducks, and quails. So if you've ever dreamed of fresh eggs from your backyard, just stick around, because I'm going to be spilling the beans or the eggs on what it's really like. So there's no sugarcoating it here, okay? It's just good old farmstead, homestead truth with a side of southern sass. So let's get to cracking on it. All right, y'all. Let's start with the big why. Everybody asks me this question. They send me messages and emails all the time. So here we go. So why go through the trouble of raising chickens, ducks, or quail for eggs? Well, honey, let me tell you. It's like growing your own groceries right at your back door, okay? Because nothing beats that first egg that you're going to collect. Nothing beats it. It feels like you just won the Wilson County Fair or the North Carolina State Fair blue ribbon, all right? Because fresh eggs, they're richer, they're tastier, and they're packed with goodness, okay? None of this, well, you don't know what you're getting or what's going into it, because you know what you put into your animals, right? You know that's what you put into them, you're going to get out. It's trade situation, know what I mean? Plus, it's a step towards like self-sufficient homestead life that pretty much everybody has dreamed about at some point or time or another. It's just right here. I'm just talking about it because we're right here in eastern North Carolina, like where my granny, you know, she had eggs, and sometimes they would trade for flour or different things at general stores way back when. You know, it happened. And we just did a topic on general stores. So if you missed that episode, please go back and watch that. All about general stores and all that good stuff in eastern North Carolina. I'm not going to, spill all that for you, but there it is. So I'm just telling you, that was the thing way back in the day. Now, talking about chickens, they're going to give you classic eggs. Everybody's seen the brown or white eggs. But depending on the breed of chicken that you get to use on your homestead, farmstead, backyard enthusiast, whatever you want to call yourselves, not only do you get the classic brown or white eggs, but you can get blue eggs, green eggs, if you've got fancy breeds like my sassy Americanas, and even ducks. Now, ducks' eggs, they're way bigger with creamier yolk. Now, they're really great to cook with. They're really great to make biscuits and all kinds of stuff. So your chickens and your duck eggs, they're all going to be different colors depending on the breed. So that's cool. You get to pick up all these wonderful different colored, rainbow colored eggs, and it's fun if you've got little kids. They can get involved and they'll actually enjoy it as well. And then you've got your quail eggs. Now, they're tiny, but they're mighty. Now, my quail eggs that I have, they're solid white, but you can get speckled eggs, and those look like little jewels. You know what I mean? So, quail eggs, it's like a perfect little quick snack kind of thing, or, you can impress your neighbors at the farmer's market with them. But, it ain't all sunshine, egg, and baskets, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right there. Remember, we ain't sugarcoat nothing. So, each bird has got its quirks. And just trust me on this. They're going to keep you on your toes faster than a rooster can scream at dawn. Let's get into it. Now let's talk about chickens first, because everybody knows what a chicken is and what chickens do. And since people have lost their skills over the many, many decades and years of what homesteading and farmsteading actually is and what we actually do, I mean, you know what a chicken looks like? You know what eggs are from a chicken? Let's just talk about that, okay? Because the chicken is basically, it's the backbone of any egg-loving homestead, farmsteading community, right? Especially a daily egg from a good egg layer. Now, I will go ahead and tell you that my Rhode Island Reds are like clockwork, honey. They pop out these eggs like nobody's business. But let me give y'all a reality check. Chickens, drama queens. They are drama queens. Now, these are hens of mine. They squawk like they're auditioning for a soap opera. Okay? Now, if the water tanks are low or if a hawk flies overhead, more drama. Scream and letting you know, hey, mommy, something's out here. Okay? And just don't even get me started on the pecking order. Okay? Because on pecking order, all you got to do is think about high school cliques, but with feathers. That's what we're dealing with. All right? So this chickens. So what you're going to need to house these chickens and do what you want to do is, if you want them contained, you're going to have a sturdy coop. Sturdy coop. Now, I don't mean you got to go out and buy a $5,000 coop. You ain't got to do all that. You can find you some coops or find you plenty of things that is affordable to you. All you got to do is look on the internets. Yes, honey, do that. I mean, use Grok, AI, use something. They'll tell you where the best prices and the best rates of things are. You know, just make it easier on yourself. So just look up and find you a sturdy coop. Get you some scratch grains. Get you some feed, you know, depending on if you got babies or older ones. You're either going to get start and grow or you're going to get layer feed. And just add like a lot of coffee or sweet tea and a whole lot of patience. That's it. Okay? That's it. So just make sure that they've got plenty of dusty dirt and stuff, because these chickens are going to love dust baths. So expect your yard to look like a sand pit after a toddler's had a tantrum. Okay? But the payoff is the eggs are versatile. You can fry them, boil them, bake them, poach them. You can put them into anything you want. Make you some cornbread with it, biscuits, whatever. They're going to be the best eggs you've ever had. I'm telling you, you will not want store-bought eggs after this. There's also like a pro tip here, okay? You got to keep their coop cleaner than a preacher's Sunday suit, or you're going to be dealing with some stinky, nasty, gross situations. And watch out for broody hens, because they're going to sit on those eggs like they're guarding the Hope Diamond. I'm just telling you. That's just what you got to deal with chickens. They're not all fuss, I will tell you that. Are they a little extra work? Yes, but we need to get outside and get our hands dirty and do these things and interact with animals besides animals you have to work with, number one, or your regular dogs and cats and things that you might have. Let's move on and talk about ducks. Oh, how I love my ducks. Oh my God, I love my ducks. Now, these are messy, but let me tell you, honey, they are some lovable egg machines. Now, my ducks are precious. I have 6, as you guys watch the YouTube channel. When you follow me on social media, you know I love my ducks. So all ducks to me on my little farm here are like class clowns of the farmstead, because they waddle, they gonna splash, they make a mess faster than my cousin Bubba at a barbecue. I'm just telling you, they make a mess, honey. So just expect bigger eggs than the chickens, because they're bigger birds, right? So there you go. Duck eggs are basically the Cadillac of bacon. They are huge eggs, love them. The yolks are so rich, they just make your cake so much fluffier than a cloud. Now, my Indian runner ducks, well, they lay like champs, but they're going to turn your yard into a mud pie convention if you don't give them some kiddie pools pond or something that they can get splashing in. I'm gonna go ahead and go there because it's quite the muddy mess. They really are. But here's a reality check. I will go ahead and tell you this right now. Ducks are freaking water hogs. They're gonna slosh more water than a kid in a bathtub. And they're not as cuddly as chickens to me. I mean, you can try petting one and they're probably gonna quack like you insulted their mama. But they're tough. They're great foragers and they eat bugs like nobody's business. But I will say, don't expect them to stay neat and pretty and clean and all that stuff. All you gotta do is keep their area drained if you can, because you're gonna be slipping and sliding around like you're on a slip and slide. That's how it works here. They've turned my yard into dirt lands out there in the back, eating all the grass. When it rains, it's pretty much their favorite time, and everybody's full of clay and mud. And yes, we put down straw. We've done everything you can think of. They're just ducks. But the eggs are good. Let's talk about my quail. And let's talk about tiny eggs. But you got a big personality with these teeny tiny little birds here. So quail, they're the underdogs of the egg game. But don't sleep on them just yet. Let me tell you a little bit. So these little fellers are perfect for smaller homesteads, backyard enthusiasts, whatever. Now, my little covey, they can literally fit in the corner of my quail barn. Okay? But I've got them a bigger barn with a flight pen. You don't have to have all that. They can fit in the corner of a, tool shed if you have to. Their eggs are teeny tiny. They're not a big bird, about the size of a loosely closed fist. And they're a third the size of like a chicken egg. But when I tell you quail eggs are packed with vitamins and look so stinking cute in that carton, you're going to miss out if you don't get any. Now, if you don't want them, that's okay. You ain't got to have quail. I'm just telling you that they're awesome. Plus, a good thing about quail, we've got some in the incubators now. I think we have 19 fertile eggs right now out of 22 we had put in there. That's good. So we're getting ready to hatch again. So one of the things about quail is they mature pretty fast. At 6 weeks, mine basically are starting to lay like it's their job. Well, it is, it's their job. But here's the kicker. So quails are a wild bird, game bird. They are super skittish. If you sneeze too loud or fart, honey, they're going to scatter like they heard like fireworks at 4th of July. Okay? That's just how they are. And let me go ahead and tell you this. They are escape artists. So now, when we had my Keats before last season when we hatched, those things, man, when they pop out of their cage, I mean, you're running them. You're chasing them, trying to corner them. You're trying to get them or whatever. Now, if it's outside, it ain't a big deal. But if you got them in the brooder and those things pop out, good luck. I mean, that's all I got to tell you is good luck, because sometimes you catch them and sometimes you don't. There's a good reward for having quails. As long as you keep their enclosures tight. Keep them as tight as you can, tighter than a banker's wallet. Just keep it tight. But now, again, we're talking about egg reward here. The eggs, they're wonderful conversation starters if you're going to places like farmers markets or your local place to sell these eggs, because quail basically are low maintenance once you get the hang of them. You just can't expect them to pose for any selfies with you. Now, you might if you get a good friendly quail. Now, I have one that I can usually get her. If you've got a plate of snackies out there, she'll land in the plate, and then I can get a good picture of her. She's not so much on selfies because she will bite. But hey, quail eggs, they're good. You can pickle them, fry them, boil them. You can eat them just like you would a chicken or a duck egg. So don't be scared of different types of animals with different types of eggs. As long as you know you can eat chickens eggs, duck's eggs, and quail eggs. You can even eat the meats of these birds if that's what you like or if that's what you prefer to do. This is your business, you know? Just don't be scared from these animals and things that we're talking about that give you the gift of yummy eggs. So let's be real here. Let's talk about the real deal. You got challenges, but you also got the joys. So it balances itself out, right? So what's the real deal with raising birds for eggs? Let me just go ahead and tell you. It's a mix, honey, of magic and mayhem. You're going to have it. It's a weird balance. But once you learn that balance, you get joy. So now the joys that I have are collecting these yummy eggs every morning. Every morning. I've got the chickens clucking, the ducks are quacking, the quails are chirping. It's literally like a symphony in my backyard. And you can have that too. So if you're living the farm life or the homestead life or whatever you want to call it life, and you want to be connected to the land just like our folks were way back in the 1900s, it's not always easy, but if you want that, you can do it. What is time? Time's going to go on forever. You're going to age. Things are going to happen. You've got to enjoy life while you're still able and while you still can to get out and do things, because it will fly by. And what better stories to tell your kids, your grandkids, somebody else's kids, or whoever. You might even do your own podcast show just like this right here on Crissy's Clucky Chronicles. You might be able to tell it just like me and tell other people to get them inspired about wanting to connect back to the land and have all of these wonderful, adorable floofs. You ain't got to have 100 million. You ain't got to start out with a whole herd of cattle or all these things. But get you a few chickens. Get you 6 chickens. Get you 5 hens and 1 rooster. That's a good start. Get you about 5 or 6 little quails if you want to start doing that. And get you a couple of ducks. So just live. That's all you got to do. You do have to be careful with the challenges are like predators. When you got hawks and sneaky raccoons, and I'm going to tell you, they're going to test your fences and they're going to test your areas. If you free range, you just got to put up with whatever is out there if you don't have, secure areas that they can go to. But it is what it is. Vicky got hurt by a young hawk. And she's currently in our little hospital here at the house, and we've got her looked after pretty well. So just be mindful of that. Also, you got to be mindful of feed costs, because those can kind of creep up a little bit with prices up and down and all that stuff. And I'll go ahead and tell you, cleaning the coops, that ain't nobody's idea of a spa day, honey. So if you were thinking, I'm going to do XYZ on Saturday, yeah, you better be thinking again, because you're going to be cleaning coops. You're going to be cleaning poops. You're going to be cleaning all kinds of unmentionable stuff. It is what it is when you have animals. They don't clean behind themselves. I wish mine would drag a rake every once in a while, but it don't happen. But still, the eggs, it's worth it. And then you got to look at the balance of it, the pride of serving your family food that you grew or that you have on your property. You can have eggs and all different kinds of things and food that's fresh for your friends. It's straight from what you did. What you put into these babies is what you're going to get out of these babies. So you've got fresh from the yard omelets. There you go. Priceless, really, when you think about it. There's an expense to it, but you got to weigh out what's more worth it to you. Do you want good food, fresh food that you know what went into your animal? Or do you want something that, I don't know what the heck I'm eating? It's got 42 different ingredients on here and you can't pronounce a one. Chickens, they eat scratch. They eat yard bugs and all that stuff, and they turn all that stuff in these wonderful, yummy eggs. Plus, you also know that you've learned something and you're a little bit more self-sufficient than relying on somebody else or something else. That's just the Eastern North Carolina way, and it could be any way of any place. It doesn't matter. So yeah, you got to expect some work out of it. But I will tell you, the love that these little floofs give back, especially my chickens, ducks, and quail, the love they give back to us, that makes it all worthwhile. I absolutely enjoy every bit of it. I really and truly do. So I'm going to tell y'all, that's the scoop. That's the scoop on raising chickens, ducks, and quails for your eggs. It is a wild ride, but nothing says homestead, farmstead, whatever, like a basket of fresh eggs in the morning, the middle of the day, or the evening, whenever you're collecting them. So if you're thinking about starting your own flock, just hit me up in the comments. Go over to Crissy's Clucky Chronicles Facebook group if you want to. Join that. We'll swap stories. I don't mind helping anybody out. I cannot tell you, and y'all know I always say this, nothing is 100%. I can only let you know what I know. I can't tell you what other people up the road are doing because, honey, I don't know. I know what I do, and I know what's worked for me. And what works for me might not work for you. But you can gather that information as tools, and you can use that to have your own eggs and your own flock. Now, do me a big old flavor flav, okay? Be egg-tastic here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more farm fun, okay? So, don't forget, this is Crissy O from crissyoshow.com, Crissy's Clucky Chronicles. I'm just reminding you, honey, if you can't be good, I don't know what else to tell you, but be good at it.